Director of Ohio's Department of Natural Resources, and I am thrilled to welcome you all to Great Council State Park, Ohio's 76th state park. Woo! What you see around you is the result of a lot of hard work by so many people, and we're very excited to open it to the public today. So to kick off this morning's ceremonies, it's my honor to introduce the people who had the idea and the vision to bring this park to reality. Governor Mike DeWine and First Lady Fran DeWine had a vision for sharing the important stories that happened right here so many years ago. And they've worked hand in hand with the Department of Natural Resources as together we sought to bring that vision to reality. They recognize the importance of this place, the importance of telling its history, its adventures, its turmoil, so all of us can have a better understanding of our collective history and connect it with the future. Moreover, I especially appreciate the DeWines and their recognition of how state parks add to the quality of Ohioans' lives across the entire state. And so it's with great pride I introduce the #1 supporters of Ohio state parks and all they represent, Governor Mike DeWine and First Lady Fran DeWine.
All right, Director. Well, good morning, everyone. This is a special day, and look at the weather in this great. For those of you not from Ohio, it's like this every day. So you know, every day, even in February, Chief. No. So we do dedicate today our 76th state park, Great Council State Park. This is a unique park. This is the first state park in Ohio dedicated to telling the story of our Native Americans. Our Native Americans who truly were the first Ohioans. To tell this story, we put a spotlight on this place. Chillicothe, Old Town, whatever name you know it by, and tell a story. We tell a story of the Shawnees, and through them, we tell the story of all Native Americans who were in Ohio. We put a spotlight on Old Town, and we put a spotlight on a three and a half year period of time, 1777 to 1780. An amazing time in our history, an essential part of knowing what the Ohio story truly is. Imagine right here, behind us, from here to the Little Miami River, maybe 1,000 Shawnee, maybe a few other tribes, some members of other tribes here at different times coming in and out. But imagine 1,000 people here. Imagine them growing corn, beans, squash. Imagine through this area, bison. Hard to think about bison in the state of Ohio, buffalo, but that's really what was here. And deer, and rabbits and other game, teeming with game. That's what we saw at that period of time. And the Shawnees at that time, led by Chief Blackfish, all's part of the story. But also part of the story are the white settlers who were coming in. White settlers who clashed with the Native Americans, with the Shawnee and other tribes, sometimes in great violence, great tragedy for both, but also at periods of time, peace and trading together, and the two cultures actually coming together and learning from each other. All really part of the story. And that is the story that we tell here at Great Council. Fran and I envision, I think particularly Fran, is every time she goes through here, thinks of children going through here, whether it be our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren, everyone's kids. We think of school groups coming in here on buses. And every child is going to see it differently. Depending on your age, you're going to get something different from this. Maybe not as in-depth, but maybe it sparks not just an interest, but maybe it sparks a real passion for history. Some child coming through here, or for our nature. This park that you're about to walk into in a moment, you have the opportunity to see a movie. If you can't get in to see it today, we're going to be open. Come on in. But it tells the story. And I want to thank everyone who's responsible for doing this. It took a lot of people to do it. I want to first start with Director Mary Mertz. When we talked about her 6 years ago about being in charge of the Ohio Department of Natural Resources, and Mary and I have worked together back when I was Lieutenant Governor, way back, many years, worked together, Attorney General's office. But what I saw in her was a passion for our parks, our passion for our natural areas, and a passion for telling the historical story as well. This wouldn't be here without her. She's pushed, she's shoved, she's done everything she could. You'll see a panther in there. I think that symbolizes not only Tecumseh, but Mary. Yeah, that's what it takes to get things done. And we wouldn't be here but for her. She also has an extremely talented Ohio Department of Natural Resources team. And we are blessed to have them. They take care of our parks, they take care of our natural areas, they do so many other great things. I want to thank also the Ohio History Connection and Megan Woods, who heads it up. Megan heads it up. We appreciate what she does. As the researcher's story, some of this is done by the ODNR folks. Some of it was by the History Connection. We thank them for their help on this project. Let me thank our 3 federally recognized Shawnee tribes who have come here today. And the chief tells me they had a bus. How many do you have on the bus? 60. But that's not all. We had other ones come from Oklahoma as well. So for all of you, welcome. This is your home. And we not only welcome you, but we thank you because this was done in a partnership. We're responsible for any errors, but they helped us. And they had input, and they were a part of it. And what I envision is long after I'm governor and the chiefs and the governor are no longer in that position with the 3 tribes, I envision that whoever is in my spot and who's ever in your spot, that we will continue this relationship. Because it is a powerful relationship. So most of them are now from Oklahoma, live in Oklahoma, but let us always remember that what you see here and what took place here is also part of their Ohio story. So I want to mention a lot of people responsible. I will mention 3 people, 3 artists who I want to recognize. Alan Cottrell from Zanesville. I don't know if Alan was here last night. I don't know if he's here today. But Alan, thank you. Zanesville, Ohio, a world-renowned artist. Fran and I had the opportunity to go over there a month or so ago, some of our grandkids, and see the statue that he created. And just phenomenal of Tecumseh. And you're going to see that. It's right behind us, and you're going to see that unveiled in a moment. Doug Hall from Oklahoma. Doug has fans. Awesome. The murals, some of the most striking things when you walk in that you will see. are his work. And he allowed us to use his work and to put it here in this great building. And so you'll just be stunned, I think, when you see the work that he does. Phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal work. John Nativio, was John, you over there? John is from Cleveland. So our artists, two of the three artists are from Ohio. And our third will make an honorary Ohioan today anyway. So, but John did the panther that greets you as you walk in the door. And if you look at the inscription, says the Tecumseh, whose name translates as Panther in the Sky, was born in the Ohio country in 1768. Panther across the sky, which is what this piece of art is titled, embodies Tecumseh's spirit, intelligence, and legacy as a fierce warrior, uniter, and guardian of Shawnee culture and tribal history. So we thank our three artists. We hope that everyone learns something when they go in. I think every time you go in, we'll learn something else. One of the lessons I think that we can take away, maybe it's a good lesson for anyone who studies history, or for anyone, maybe particularly for children, that in the story of Tecumseh, one of the lessons I think is that not all leaders, not all heroes are ultimately successful. But their story can inspire us as well. That inspiration is something that I think you will see as you go through. You'll see the spirit of the Shawnees, the determination. You'll learn about the white settlers. I think it's something that, as I was talking to my friend from Yellow Springs, John Fleming, yesterday, who was very, very much involved in the Freedom Center in Cincinnati, also involved very, very much in the African American Museum in Wilberforce. And he said, you know, Mike, he says, one of the things we've found with our museums is we continue to evolve. And we continue to evolve what we learn. And so what we hope is this will inspire even more historical research into this period of time. For those of you from Greene County, and those of you who are not, for those of you who are not, you're in Greene County. We think that this is going to add to our ability to tell the Ohio story right here in Greene County. You think of what's in Greene County. You can start here. You can go not too many miles from here in Wilberforce, the African American Museum. You can go then to the Huffman Prairie, where the Wright brothers literally learned to fly and practiced, and day after day. And you can see that prairie today. You can see natural wonders here in Greene County. John Bryan State Park, or other state park now in Greene County. The Clifton Gorge, Glen Helen, just so many places, our trails that go through here, so many places that you can get out and enjoy. So it's history, and it's our natural beauty. Let me now introduce, as Mary said, the person really who was the driving force, the real inspiration. She had opinions about what this building was going to look like, and we won't get into that. But what you see here is a result of Fran's inspiration. She is the daughter of a contractor and builder. She's a sister to three builders as well. But she's also someone like me who grew up in Yellow Springs, and who the story of the Shawnee we heard many times growing up. Let me introduce my bride of 57 years, my wife Fran.
Thank you. Well, as we planned and built this beautiful building, you know, what I wanted to do really is think about children. I wanted something that kids would love to come to, and you know, I sort of think, and sometimes you kind of hook them in on little things, and then they learn more and more as they go through the museum. So our little hook is the living stream. So I know my grandkids helped stock some of the fish in the living stream earlier this week, and they just thought it was absolutely the coolest thing ever. So I think that's going to be one of the fun things that your kids also will like. And the wigwam, to get into the wigwam and see, you know, what they might have worn, all these things. These are things that the little kids will like. And so there's so much here for all ages. I also wanted this to be a place where, you know, you learn about food and about what our Native Americans grew here and what they hunted. And I actually found this little cookbook, and it's Rebecca Boone's recipes. And so the interesting thing is, you know, as we talk about what happened here, you know, the story of Daniel Boone, he was captured by the Shawnees down in Kentucky and brought here, and he was kept here for 4 months, but he became Blackfish's adopted son. And so you wouldn't adopt him if you don't love and respect him. And so I think this is just a really cool thing. Well, in this little cookbook that I found of Rebecca Boone's recipes, I found several of them that were Blackfish's recipes. It said Blackfish taught Daniel how to make that when they were in here at this very, very spot. So I've been playing with the kids, my kids, and we've been making some of these things, little Blackfish's meat pies. And the original recipe that I got had, you know, pork and beef in it, but I thought what might be good, and what maybe they had, was venison and bacon. So we made some with venison and bacon, but it's just to share that story. I also, you know, hope to, because the Shawnees were farmers too. They were hunters and they were farmers. And a lot of times it was the women who did the farming. And so, you know, we're going to develop some Three Sisters gardens here, which are going to be really cool. So the Shawnees were very smart. They knew how important corn was, so they planted corn. Then they planted squash that would go right at the base of it, that would go along the ground, and beans that would go up the corn stalk. And together, these are very, very nutritious. And so we want to teach that to the kids, too. You know, I think one reason I have a love for this area is, you know, not only did Mike and I grow up just down the road, but my mother was born about 2 miles behind us. And, you know, her family came over in 1814. This is part of the Virginia military lands, and they had part of a grant. And so, you know, I think 4 great-grandfather actually came over, built a house there in 1815, and our family is still there today. My cousin still lives in the house where my mom was born, and so I think that's so important, and it goes down to the river. But you know, I think the cool thing about it is that, you know, the biggest thing is respect. You know, my family has great respect for this land, and I know the Native Americans had great respect for this land. And so I think that's the important thing that we have to take away. We have to respect our land and treat it well, and I think that this museum is going to help us learn how to do that.
Well, good morning. My name's Glenn Cobb. I'm the Chief of State Parks, and under a depth chart, you have the governor up here, and then you have Fran right there, and then you have the directors right up there, and then I'm down here. So this will be brief. Thank you for joining us on this amazing day. We have a beautiful day, and I'm very, very thankful. What a crowd. Glenn Cobb, Chief of Division of Parks and Watercraft for ODNR. And I'm very, very proud of what we have accomplished, and our engineers and all that have contributed to this, and it's been really a teamwork. What a vision, what an idea. The governor and first lady recognized the importance of this site and knew we had to honor it in some way. And what better way to dedicate a whole state park to celebrate Shawnee and pioneer history in Ohio. It started as drawings. There were sketches and renderings, architectural plans, the list goes on, until we could start digging. The beams went up, and then the walls. We framed this to be a modern interpretation of the council house design. Steel, concrete, glass, it was all brought in. Staff, partners, contractors worked tirelessly to construct this 3-story, 12,000 square foot building. Isn't it beautiful? But this beautiful building isn't the attraction here. It's the living, evolving story that the building and the land tells. It tells the story of the Shawnee people and the pioneers who came by this region, how they interacted with each other and with the land. And it's the people who are telling the story, our tribal partners who taught, inspired us, our staff who worked to inspire you. So thank you. Thank you to the governor and the first lady, DeWine, to Director Mertz. And let me say, Governor, she is a driving force. And to all who shared the vision for this amazing place. And now it's my honor to bring up the leader who has brought the real driving force behind the governor and first lady's vision into reality, and that's the director of our department. So please join me in welcoming ODNR Director Mary Mertz.
All right, I know it's warm out here, so I promise I won't take too long, but we've talked a lot about vision, right? What the vision was and how we turn it into reality. So I just want to give you a couple details on how this started. Back when the governor was first elected, 2019, he sends out all his ideas. So he sent this email to all these agency leaders and said, hey, I want to do something really significant here, figure it out. And so there was some figuring out, and at first, as usual with state government, we come up with little ideas, right? It's like, oh, we'll have like a driving tour, and people can stop for a minute. Or maybe we'll put up some signage that tells a story a little better. And I pretty much knew that was not going to fly with him. We needed something big, we needed something significant, but what I heard was, well, there's nothing we can do. The Tecumseh Motel sits there, so we're stuck. There's nothing we can do. So we said, well, let's buy that motel. And everybody thought that was crazy. They said, that's a crazy idea. We can't buy a motel. We can't do anything. They thought I'd lost my mind. But we bought the motel. I don't know how many people miss it. We do have the old sign, though, in the basement. And I want to be sure that as you look through the museum, don't miss the basement. Not only do we have the old sign for the Tecumseh Motel, there's a really important exhibit about the Shawnee tribes today. And that's a really key part of the story we tell here. But anyway, so the last few years, like I said, some people thought I lost my mind, and I thought they might have been right. But thanks to the governor and the legislature, we were able to purchase the land, we broke ground, and we got the job done. It wasn't easy. Endless meetings about design, endless meetings about exhibits. There was a big supply shortage throughout most of the construction, which made everything challenging. Lots of substitutes, lots of temporary measures. But again, time and again, we got it done. And that's because the project was truly a team effort. And so I want to talk for just a moment about the staff at ODNR. They worked some real miracles. I mean, first, gaining access to the land. And all the land we hear that can serve as a beacon for Ohio history and education. Our engineers and project managers put in so much time and effort to really nail down the design plans with our architects and carry out the work with the construction team. Sometimes I tease them, they had sleeping bags and cots here because they needed to work around the clock. Conservation staff helped with the living stream and the tall grass prairie that you'll see out back. And now the biggest challenge of all, our operational staff will take the reins and carry out the promise of Great Council State Park to be a place that honors Ohio's Shawnee and pioneer past. So, you know the saying, teamwork makes the dream work, and we had a great team of partners. And I'm proud to say time and again over these last couple of years, the partnership with the 3 federally recognized Shawnee nations and their input was invaluable to make sure that we carry this out with respect and authenticity. And we're honored to have members of each of those tribes here today. I also can't say enough about the Ohio History Connection. I know Megan's here somewhere. They helped us put together some of the incredible exhibits, especially up on the second floor where you'll see a lot of detail. We challenge everyone to think outside the box, to be engaging, educational. I think you'll agree they hit the mark. And also thanks to the local history experts, the Greene County Historical Society, the Yellow Springs Historical Society, who ensured authenticity with a local eye along the way. They are part of this community, and we respected that. So speaking of history, the Ohio Department of Natural Resources is celebrating its 75th anniversary this year. And I think it's important to mention that now because as a director, I've learned that ODNR has not only cultivated a long legacy of conservation and outdoor recreation, it's also a legacy of upholding Ohio's cultural and natural heritage, especially when those things come together as they do here. So at ODNR, we've woven a tapestry of protection and preservation over the 75-year history. And that tapestry includes successful efforts to protect land and water, to improve outdoor access, recreation, appreciation, and to preserve our natural history and manage the wise use of those resources that we all need for Ohio to thrive. And so now we can add Great Council State Park to that elaborate tapestry of preservation. We took great care to ensure the stories told inside are as historically accurate as we could achieve and faithful to the people who lived here so long ago. But we will learn more as time goes on, and this will evolve as we learn new facts and new background, and we will evolve with it. So it's my hope that this park can ignite a spark in every visitor who walks through the door, a spark of curiosity. I hope people allow themselves to walk in the footsteps of those who walked these grounds in the late 18th century and ask themselves, how did the Shawnee people live? How did the pioneers live? How did they interact with the wildlife in the area? How did they engage with the Little Miami? And I hope they think about the natural wonders that surrounded the people back then that still surround us today. And when they leave here, I hope they take that curiosity with them. A curiosity to think about the lessons learned and apply it to our future. So thank you all for being here for what should be a great celebration of the new state park. I'm so glad you joined us today. And now it's my honor to bring up three very important dignitaries to address you next. So the land we're standing on is a special place, and recounting its history can be a challenge. And that's why it was important to have key voices involved to preserve the Ohio country's cultural and natural heritage with integrity. And so to do this, we worked with the three federally recognized Shawnee tribes, and I've spent meetings, and my staff has spent even more meetings over the last few years with these leaders, site visits to the construction site, a lot of time, a lot of effort. So here today to share a few words with us are three of the tribal leaders, and I'm going to introduce them all so they can come up after each other. So Chief Glenna Wallace will be first of the Eastern Shawnee tribe. An absolutely incredible individual, and everyone in a green shirt already knows that, but everyone else should know it as well. So she's the tribe's first ever woman to serve as a chief. And she's made it her mission to emphasize the importance of education, historical preservation, cultural awareness, and economic security. And I know how very proud she is of her heritage and what you've created in Oklahoma. It's pretty amazing, and we're so pleased that you could join us today. We'll also be welcoming Chief Ben Barnes, who was elected Chief of the Shawnee Tribe in 2019. Another incredibly impressive person that has been just amazingly helpful. So Chief Barnes has used his position to advocate for accountability, reconciliation, and human rights. He's also founded an initiative that reclaims traditional Shawnee ceramic practices. And it's just done so many things to support the Shawnee tribe. And I know all the members here are proud of what he's done, and thank you for joining us as well. And the last of those to share their thoughts on this new place is Treasurer Joseph Blanchard, Treasurer of the Absentee Shawnee Tribe. And We appreciate all the absentee tribe has done to help make this as successful as we hope it will be. He oversees and safeguards the tribe's investments while ensuring ethical standards and has been a tremendous leader for that tribe, and we're so glad he's here today. So all three of you, we'll start with Chief Wallace, and we're glad you're here to share your thoughts on Great Council State Park.
I have been traveling the state of Ohio for 16 years as we have been working toward that nomination and actual achievement of World Heritage of 8 of our ancestral mounds here. So the number of hours could go into years that I have spoken in Ohio. And I am a former college professor where for almost 40 years, every class I taught, I spoke for 1 hour and 15 minutes. So buckle your seatbelts. I promise not to do that because I have said almost anything that I could say in these 16 years. So I'm going to share one simple proverb with you. This is a Creek proverb, and it indicates, we warm our hands by the fires that we did not build. We eat the fruit of the trees that we did not plant. We drink from the wells that we did not dig, and we stand upon the shoulders of giants who have gone before us. For every single person involved in the beginning, the construction, and then the future of this, you are indeed a giant, and we congratulate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hoesi Wapani. Good morning. So my brother and I, some 13, 15 years ago, we started a volunteer, rekindled our language program. And it's always a pleasure to be in my homeland and be able to speak my language. So bear with me a minute, I'm going to introduce myself. Ben Barnes nitesito noki nila wito e pitch tiepto. Okimasa wanoki keta yokopi. I'm Ben Barnes, Chief of the Shawnee, and it is my pleasure to be here today, and I want to thank Xenia for the hospitality you've given us and shown us, the warm welcome you've given us. I do have to confess, it's been a lot of years since I've been in Xenia. The last time I was here, the Cincinnati Reds were good.
There's still hope.
I grew up not too far from here. I went to school at St. Peter's Elementary in Huber Heights. My father was a part of Ohio's tool and die industry as a manufacturing engineer. So we got to spend a lot of time here as children and see firsthand not just the history of Shawnees on placards, but also its absence. And there's been a lot of people that have brought this day and made it happen. And I want to thank Mary Mertz and the Ohio Department of Natural Resources. And particularly, I also want to extend thanks to the Burt Logan at the Ohio History Connection was instrumental some years ago with Shawnees finding a voice here in the state, and now that's being stewarded by Megan Woods. And Megan, thank you very much, Megan. The things that we've accomplished in Ohio in what seems like a few years started a generation ago with Chief Wallace kicking in the door. If you've ever met Chief Wallace, she is a force of nature. And she would not be deterred. She wanted to make sure that the voices of the Shawnee could be heard in Ohio, one of our first and most important homelands. Shawnees lived in more than 20 states, and Ohio was definitely primary amongst those states. And I have to thank Governor DeWine and First Lady Fran DeWine for your vision to getting here to this day. Thank you very much. And as a person that is very involved with Shawnee language, I want you, when you go through today, look at all the signage. We have Shawnee language infused throughout all of the exhibits using 2 different orthographies, an orthography that we use at our tribal nation, as well as a alphabet that was developed by families within the absentee Shawnee tribe. So when we're up here, I often wondered, how often will Shawnee language be heard in our homelands after our absence? And today you've heard some of it, but you will have it here in Ohio for all time, now thanks to this museum. DeWine, Nikochaye Hineleki.
Wasawapani. Good morning, everybody. Afternoon. I appreciate the opportunity to be here in front of you today and speak on behalf of the absentee Shawnee people and the 4,700 of us that remain here in Oklahoma, or back home in Oklahoma. I apologize for Governor John Johnson, who is unable to make it here today. But again, I am very honored to be here and speak in front of you. As has been already mentioned today, all the events, all the meetings, all the discussions, and principal people who have been involved to make this vision come to reality. Thank you, Yahweh. In it, we are very excited. So besides our brothers and sisters from the other two Shawnee tribes, we also brought some folks from back home, our elders, which I am privileged to drive around this weekend, and some of our veterans. They're giggling. So, in the end, hey, no way. Good to see you, brother. Long time. This is a culmination of a lot of events that have transpired, that started with a simple email, a simple phone call, and again, based on one vision, one idea. A lot of parties came to this location to make this possibility, to come to fruition. And as you come through, as already been said, a lot of thought process has gone through this. And for me and my people back home, it symbolizes who we are as Shawnee people. The humility, the humbleness, the thoughtfulness, being one and in harmony and balance with nature. Those are things that are principal to us and our beliefs and how we are. As absentee Shawnee people, it's interesting to me that we are the last to speak today. We are Kishpakota. We are the warrior clan of our people. We protect our people. And so in this, in the final comments for today, I thank my veterans, I thank my elders, and all the lessons they provided in teaching us how to be and how we conduct ourselves in public when we go to other locations. And as Governor DeWine has so eloquently stated, we are the original inhabitants of this land, so it's good to be home in our country again. Thank you. So as I finish these few minutes of this conversation and just being able to again say thank you to all the folks who've been a part of this, Director Martz and all her staff, but when I think of it, it's the other folks that don't ever get mentioned. It's the people the little people. As I was told growing up, it's important to know from everybody from the top to the bottom. So even the person who is the housekeeper, sweeping the floors. And you don't treat them any differently. They're your equal. So myself, as treasurer of the absentee Shawnee tribe, I don't think of myself as being elevated or above or beyond anybody else. I think of myself as equal to everybody else. I have just been fortunate enough to be elected to be put in this position to represent our people. Some of the things that was mentioned earlier was some of the firsts that are happening. Some of our group today are the first of the 4-year term elected officials for our tribe. I am fortunate that I can officially say I'm the first to be reelected to a 4-year term. Governor's chuckling because he knows that's a difficult task. I am very honored to have that responsibility for my people. It is a thankless job, but that's not why I do it. As has already been mentioned, and this Chief Wallace talked about the creeks. Most people don't realize that our great leader, Tecumseh, who we are the direct descendants of, was Park Creek. So we acknowledge our relatives of the Creek Nation. We acknowledge all of our relatives and who, as has already been mentioned, the giants who have come before us that we stand upon. It's their legacy. It's their culture that we continue to persevere. 7 generations, it's an Iroquois thought process. What we do today is to be into the future 7 generations. So we're thinking about those great-great-grandchildren that are still yet to come, the unborn. So I will close with that. And again, thank you, Governor, and all the other people and the participants. Yahweh.
Two more quick things before we open the doors. And I promise we're going to open the doors. But first, we have an amazing statue to unveil, and we have a ribbon to cut. So let's move to the statue. And I think our artist is over here. And
I want to get my family over for the ribbon. Yeah, we'll get the artist. Momentarily. Hey, congratulations.
All right, so as they prepare to unveil the statue, if you were requested to cut the ribbon, please make your way up here too.
Oh, they want us to unveil the picture.
Director, you'll be in the middle here.
Come on, guys. Yes, Governor. Everybody over here. Come on, guys. You stand up with us. Come on. Little ones.
So get up there, Ty. Get up there and cut it. Up there, my grandpa cut it.
All right, Great Council State Park is now open. We asked, the tribe leaders have asked that they are able to present some gifts to people and share some more remarks thanking, showing their appreciation. So if you're able to stick around for that, please stick around. And then there are more announcements to follow, but enjoy the park.